These cycles are very tough. When they walk in, it's like a storm just walk in. If you're not ready for it, and you don't have the right tools, the right way of getting out of there, you will fail.
Everything we face in life, it's nothing new under the sun. It's coming from the past that tried to push and repeat the same pattern, good or bad, Alan.
Any family, if you don't stop the cycle, if you don't change the cycle, it will repeat itself and it will be transferred. We say that all the time.
We can give all kind of reason why something is happening, but if we look at the source, the influence working behind the scene to repeat himself, because a paradigm will never die by himself. It will push to repeat himself generation after generation.
That's it. It is simple as a paradigm, a cycle. It's in the bloodline, it's in the DNA, and it will go and go because it's spiritual. The influence is spiritual. We say that all the time. It's the synergy between the two worlds operating together hand in hand. And once you understand that, then you can come out of a situation. If you understand that these voices come from somewhere, it's a spiritual battle. There's things in the bloodline, in the DNA of generations that keep pushing that, putting that pressure on you to do the same thing, to repeat, to think the same way. Those voices come from somewhere, right?
This voice, like David, in the Bible, then this thing happened. He killed a man unjustly, the husband of Bathsheba, and paid the price. God said that now murder will be in your family. His son and all his children, they fight against each other, kill. They were not trained to do that. It was this influence spiritually that influences children and grandchildren to do the same thing.
Any family, if you don't stop the cycle, if you don't change the cycle, it will repeat itself and it will be transferred. We say that all the time. If you do not stop that cycle, it will be transferred to your downline, which is your children and your children's children. The legacy of the families is extremely important, Martine. We've got to leave the right legacy to our family. The head of the family is us, is the couple.
Sometimes people say unconsciously decide to say no more with me, and they're gonna fight against this paradigm and see some result. But with God and the right system, we can be delivered from that. We can walk in our freedom. We can walk in our authority and see really this abundance life that God has for our life. In the marriage, something happened with this kind of pattern. This kind of pattern that if you have that in your family, is going to try to match you with another person that's going to fit with, to recreate the pattern too. And spiritually, what is coming against you and what is coming against your partner, your spouse, it's going to work together to recreate the same thing.
That's it. It is simple as a paradigm, a cycle. It's in the bloodline, it's in the DNA, and it will go and go because it's spiritual. We are spiritual beings. We are creators and we can create whatever we want to. But there's an influence there, Martine.
But we see clearly that David, why he did that? Because he slept with a married woman. He had a sexual problem. And we see that it comes from a bloodline that his grandmother was Rahab, a prostitute. Then you see the sexual sin in the bloodline. And this sin was repeated themselves and opened a door to another sin. And this is how it's working behind the scene to repeat the generation after generation.
These cycles are very tough. When they walk in, it's like a storm just walk in. If you're not ready for it, and you don't have the right tools, the right way of getting out of there, you will fail.
If you don't stop this paradigm, it will continue. And we are responsible to identify that, and we have the power to change. And this is what I explain in my book, Zikaron, The Memory of Generation, the 7 steps, to fix that, and you can fix it quickly.